Hello, everybody. Welcome back to On the Come Up with KG. And we are on episode 2 with the interview with DJ Alaska. And if you haven't seen the first episode, go back and watch it. But what I was going to ask next was, do you find it very hard to like leave your set and go into the crowd and party with them? Because I feel like that would be my biggest problem.
Well, honestly, no. Because, like, I want to have fun with the crowd as much as they're having fun. So, like, as soon as I'm done, I'm like, okay, let's get a shot. Let's go to the crowd and, like, vibe. And, like, every like, DJ bill that I play with, I'm excited for the other DJs before and after me. Like, I'm like, let's go. It's gonna be fun. And so it's just I love having it both ways. Like unless it's like a really huge event, like if I'm playing like a big venue with like 500 people, then that crowd gets a little too big and I'm like, let me just
Stay back
chill
there.
on the stage on the side, because like I do get scared of really big crowds, which is like like it's funny, like as a DJ you're like, oh, you're scared of that, like it's like like once you're in the middle of it you're like, oh wow, it's different on the side. I can't breathe. But if it's like, a smaller thing, like, yeah, I'll have fun with both sides.
Okay. Is there anything that you would like to see more of in the community of DJs or like female DJs or in general? Like, is there anything that kind of stands out to you that you're like, I want to see more of that?
Okay, so one, definitely a lot more girl DJs, just because they're more fun. Like, you can't lie, they're always way more fun.
I agree.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm sure like everyone watching, like, you had a more fun night when it was a girl DJ. And that's true.
Yeah.
And also just because like as a girl DJ, when I'm like, I pull up and I'm setting up and it's like fellow girlies that are there, it's like, you're just more comfortable and it's just like, they're just more, they're just, I don't know, it's fun. It's more fun with girls. And so that one, and two, I think we need more like low-key genres.
Okay, yeah.
Being out in the open, like, like lo-fi stuff. I know it's not like fun party vibes. It's not what the clubs want. It's not what the bars want. But like, there's people that just want to vibe out. Like, they don't want to like go hard. Like they don't. Some people just want to like vibe out and chill with their friends and like listen to like chill experimental stuff. And it doesn't always have to be club hits. Like, some people just want to vibe out with their friends, and that's cool too. So I want to see more of that here in Dallas. It's definitely not as much of a thing here, and I want to help change that, but it also takes other people wanting to do it too. So, yeah.
Have you seen those spaces in other places that you've visited or DJed at?
I think in Austin it's definitely more like accepted there to just do weirder stuff or more chill stuff. But in Dallas it's very much like it's like party, like so it's, I don't see it as much here. If it is happening, I don't know about it. I usually know about everything that happens in the city, so if I don't know about it, I don't know. I don't see it happening.
Yeah, maybe it'll take to like to have somebody kind of set the tone. Like, maybe if it was like, I know there's like some places that are like sanctuary type places where you can create content and stuff like that. Maybe it just calls for like the setting and the right marketing. And then I think you definitely could have like people in that crowd. I don't know. That's interesting. I think that would be dope though. I think that would be really cool.
For sure.
So, what other hobbies do you have outside of DJing?
Oh my gosh. So it's related to music, but I love producing music. I like to produce a lot of songs that I play, or I try to. Like, I'll do house remixes. I have a house remix of a Nicki Minaj song coming out next week of Peas in the Trap. So that's gonna be coming soon.
Barb's in the
Yeah,
building. Barb's in the
Barb's.
chat.
Barb's in the chat. Where you at? Unicorn emoji. So I love producing music. I love making my own music. I I've been doing that for like years now. So I just want to like perfect my craft. So that's mostly what I do. I'm also a big skater. I'm in the skate community. And that's another thing where it's like obviously very male dominated, but you see a lot of girls now getting into it. And so I've found like my own tribe
Yeah.
of like other girls that love to skate. So we meet up and we like take over the park. We're like, fuck you, we're here.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, it's always a good time and everyone's so supportive. That's like the whole vibe of Dallas.
For
is
sure,
like
for sure.
everyone just like comes together. Everyone's so sweet here.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, maybe it's like Southern hospitality or whatever, but like everyone's just so sweet here.
Yeah.
So skate community, music community. I'm also an artist, so
Okay.
I'm a big painter. I'll be in like some art galleries or shows every now and then. And yeah, so I'm actually gonna be in an art show like May 13th.
Oh.
Plug. We're gonna plug
Where
it.
at?
It's at the Funky Fun Studios at the Fabrication Yard where all the graffiti is at, you know?
Okay.
And so I'm doing like an art installation there and yeah, so that's a lot of what I do is just like music, skate, art.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you have a favorite?
A favorite?
Yeah.
What I like to do? Oh my god. That's like asking which kid is your favorite.
I know.
Oh dang, that's so hard. Oh man.
Or okay, let's word it like this. What do you think allows you the most creative expression?
Ooh, I would have to say making music.
Okay. I can see
Yeah.
that for sure. Okay. And so where do you plan on going? Like where do you see yourself going with your music, or is it just kind of like it goes where it goes, or do you
Yeah.
have like certain milestones or goals that you want to hit
Yeah.
with your music?
Honestly, I do want to take it pretty far with
Okay.
music. I used to think that you could only like, oh, if you're a DJ, that's all you can do, or oh, you're a musician, that's all you can do. But artists like do both. Like, there's this girl named Girl Ultra, and she tours all over the United States and also does DJing stuff if she like on the same weekend
Yeah.
too. And I think only recently when I saw that, I was like, "Oh, like you can do both." Like
Yeah.
I don't know, I think a lot of people don't realize like you don't have to do just one thing. Like you can do so many things and it's crazy like you would think that's like an obvious thing, but I think a lot of people are
Put themselves in a
they put
box.
themselves in a box and it's like no, like as long as you have the passion, the drive, the time, like you can really do anything.
Yeah.
And so I want to do live music. I don't know if that would mean like in a band eventually, but I just have myself for now. And so I want to do live music and like also DJ stuff and like I want to take it far. Like I really do see myself playing like festivals
Oh, for sure. I
someday.
was gonna ask too. Yeah, festivals. I think that would be dope. Do you have
Yeah.
like a do you have a particular artist that you would like to work with
Oh my
eventually?
god, Kelly Uchis. Oh, she's the queen.
Yeah.
And a lot of like just a big inspiration for me
Yeah.
too because I feel like growing up seeing like a Latina musician, it was just like Shakira, not saying like oh this just
Yeah.
Shakira. It's like I don't know, someone that does it a little
I was
different.
about to say she has her own style. She introduces like a whole new
Yeah.
to the Hispanic community. She's great. I
Mhm.
love Cali Uchis. Yeah.
Yeah, and like the fact that she's like this big Latina musician and she's doing collaborations with like people from different genres, like Tyler the
Exactly.
Creator,
Right, yeah.
like that was honestly very big, like and different, like because it's like a Latina artist doing something with like a rapper.
Exactly.
And it's like, you didn't see Shakira doing that,
Yeah.
you know? Like,
And then a rapper of Tyler the Creator's caliber, because Tyler the Creator has his very unique sound
yeah.
out in the rap community as well. So it's
Mhm.
like two very, unique artists coming together.
Mhm.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
100%, yeah.
So honestly, like Callie, she's like breaking down doors.
She
Like
is.
she's bringing it different. She's doing it new and inspiring a lot of people like me that are like, I love so many different genres, and Callie was like, "Oh, bet like I'm the same.
Exactly.
I can do the same thing." And it's like,
Hmm.
"Oh wow, like it's just so confirming like that you could do anything."
Yeah,
Like
you can.
truly.
Anything that you love, anything that piques your interest,
Yeah.
you can have your hands in everything, really,
Mhm. Most
just
definitely.
depends on how far you're willing to go or how much work you're willing to put in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see that. That's really good.
Yeah.
I think you'll do well. Well,
Oh,
Miss
thank you.
Space, we're
Yeah.
excited to see it.
Thank
We're
you.
excited to see you at Coachella.
Oh, we'll see. I'm gonna drop out like Frank last
I know it's
minute.
Coachella weekend, you guys. So like,
Check
don't.
on your friends.
Yeah, check on your. Y'all, I'm suffering right now. I've been suffering through this whole interview. I'm
Yeah.
dying, but yeah. Speaking of Coachella, you guys, everybody, I am very upset. I don't want to bash you know who. We're not gonna say any names, or maybe we will. But but I'm very upset. You guys know, everybody who knows me personally knows I am a stan, and I've been a stan forever, and I love him dearly, and I hope he's doing okay. My sincere prayers, but I did have plans on going to Coachella this weekend, and I don't know if I'm still gonna go because I don't know, to me personally, if it's worth still going because he's no longer going. I don't know, you guys. I don't know. I don't know. A lot of decisions. I don't know. Like, I don't really want to make this the thing about like pop culture, and I really don't want to get on here and talk negatively about anybody,
Yeah.
especially Frank Ocean. I love you.
I love you.
But it is just like it's crazy. I think it's kind of a crazy to I think for one, it's a crazy dynamic to see how we as just like regular people, we don't realize that celebrities have real life issues and real life problems
Mhm.
and anxiety and like things that they're dealing with behind camera. And it's just interesting because like he's made that apparent for pretty much his whole career, like how
Mhm.
he doesn't really care too much about the spotlight. He is somebody who wants to kind of just like put his art out there on his
Mhm.
own timing and then, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like you have to respect that, but it's like at what point do you think the line is drawn? You know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think it's crazy because with a lot of celebrities and musicians, people will dehumanize them. As
Right.
much as like you can love this artist, like as much as you can say like, "Oh, I'm a huge Frank stan," like they'll still forget that they're a
He's
human
a person,
being.
yeah.
Like they also have anxiety, they also go through depression, they
He's
also
grieving.
grieving, like literally like imagine. I think people are forgetting empathy, you
Hmm.
know? And they think that these big pop stars or what have you, they're built different, like they're robots that
Yeah.
don't have these feelings, but it's like, babes, how do you think they
Yeah.
wrote these emotional songs?
Literally. And
Like,
I think what a lot of people do is like what I'm noticing is that what people don't realize is like common people like us,
mhm,
we seem to belittle the feelings of famous people because we automatically equate them with like being rich. So
mhm,
we're like, oh, if they have money, they don't have any other problems in the world.
yeah,
Like my biggest issue right now, or not me personally, but like in general, most people's problem in life is money.
mhm,
So they assume if you have that much money, you shouldn't have any other problems in the world and you
yeah,
should be fine and you're not like me because I'm suffering because I'm poor.
yeah,
And that just isn't true because as we know, money does not buy happiness.
mhm,
So it's like people still deal with real life issues like again, like grieving, death, depression, anxiety. Those things are still very, very real despite how much money you have.
yeah.
not enough money to buy that away.
Yeah. That also reminds me with like how much people pressure Rihanna for a new album. Like
Hmm.
she isn't trying to start a family and
Right.
do her own thing. Like she just gave birth and people are like, okay, when's the album coming? It's
Yeah.
like
Or even people talking about how they didn't like her Super Bowl performance. She was
she was
pregnant.
pregnant. Like she had a growing person in
Yeah.
her. And people were like,
We
"Oh,
gonna
well,
do
she's still gonna
backflips.
turn it out." Like, wait, what? Like,
Yeah, you want her to do backflips on
yeah,
stage.
people, their expectations. It's so ridiculous because if you were like, "Could you do that? Could you do what they were doing?" They'd be silent.
Exactly. And I think it's just a lot of things where it's like, if you want to be honest and you want to kind of rip the band-aid off, a lot of us common people are scared to do things as little as to just be yourself.
Yeah.
Just to
Hmm.
wear what you want to wear. Just to have your hair the way that you want to have it. Just to
Yeah.
listen to the music that you want to listen to. Just to say the opinions that you truly have. You're scared to do that on a daily basis
Yeah.
amongst your friends and your family. So how are you going to sit here and judge someone because of the way that they performed in front of millions or multi thousands of
Yeah.
people when you can't even be yourself in front of the 5 people in your
Period.
community? You know,
Yes. True.
sometimes you gotta take a step
Yeah.
back.
Take a step
Yeah,
back.
and that reminds me to another person who I always think that about is Kanye. Like, I'm a Christian, and
Hmm.
something that I always say is like, people try to say that Kanye isn't a real Christian or try to talk about his past or who he is and what he does and what makes him less of a Christian.
Hmm.
But it's like, that's not who God called us to be, judgmental. If he's getting out here and claiming that Jesus is king and he's making music that aligns with that and he's getting out and speaking about that, and
Hmm.
he clearly apparently has mental health issues, and everybody is like, a scrutinizing him publicly from it, and
Hmm.
then there's outlets who are taking advantage of that, trying to get like
Yeah.
clout in interviews when he's, and nobody, I feel like, well, I don't know, but in that community of like celebrities, there's who's really reaching out and being like pulling him aside, like, maybe you do need a little bit of help right now, maybe
Yeah.
you shouldn't be in the spotlight. It's just like crazy, like you said, how people dehumanize celebrities because again they equate
Yeah.
them having money to like, oh, they don't have any other problems, but it's like we really do have to be mindful and empathetic
Hmm.
towards everyone.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
What happened to grace? What
Yeah,
happened to giving
exactly.
grace to people?
Exactly.
Like, I don't know. I think it's everyone is just a little bit too like selfish and looking inward, and we need to remember like we're all neighbors. Not in the fact that like, oh, we live next door to each other, but we're
Yeah,
neighbors.
we're all humans
Yeah.
having human experiences and human emotions, and we don't know where people come from. We
Yeah.
don't know what they've dealt with in their lives, no matter
Mhm.
how much, even if you're in the public eye all the time, like celebrities. I think that's where the misconception comes from,
Mhm.
is because so much of their lives are public to us that people assume, oh, I know them. I know what they have going on.
Yeah.
I know how they feel. I know, and you don't. You just you really don't.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's their trauma the same way that you have stuff about you that no one knows about, and
Mhm.
you've gone through things that no one knows about, and that alters the way that you think and the way that you move and the way that
Mhm.
you feel. It's across the board. It's a human experience,
Yeah.
not a poor
Preach,
person experience
preach.
or a rich person experience.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's true. We have to have a little bit more grace for everyone.
Yeah.
Amen.
Amen. Let's get an amen.
Okay, so how do you avoid burnout?
Burnout, oh my
Yeah.
gosh. So I definitely experienced this at a certain point where I was like overbooking myself
Mm,
and just saying yes to too many things. And so obviously, the number one reason I do this is to have fun and have everyone else have fun. So if I'm getting burnt out, that negates everything that I
yeah.
was trying to do. And so I think just not overscheduling yourself to the point where it feels like this is a job or a chore rather than this is this fun thing that I get to do. Like
Mhm.
I have to also remind myself, like, I get to do this, and,
Yeah.
like, I have to, like, appreciate this, and just remind myself that, like, this is all just for fun,
Yeah.
and also that's my philosophy in life too, is, like, you're here to have fun, to, like, love, and anything that isn't that is like you need to work on,
Yeah,
you
for sure.
know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, just it's all about balance when it
Yeah.
comes to that.
I agree too. It's like something that I say sometimes that people are like, I always say like anything that causes you too much physical labor or like to where you're restless.
Mhm.
No,
Yeah.
because people, I think like especially here in the States, we have this whole thing about capitalism and work culture and like
Grind
hustle culture. Yeah.
mentality.
And it's like that obviously doesn't work for us. And I feel
Yeah.
like if you're like burning yourself out and working too hard, you're robbing yourself. So I always say like I think that a vast majority of life is like it's a lot of work. But I feel
Mhm.
like if anything it's more spiritual and mental work. If you can
Yeah.
get that down packed, then like you got the cheat code, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like if you can get your mental and your spiritual right, then you're pretty good. And it's like you have to take time for yourself. You have to
Mhm.
realize what's when too much is too much.
Mhm.
And you gotta have to make boundaries. You have to create boundaries. You have to tell yourself like, no,
Yeah.
can't say yes so often. And like you said, like just make sure that whatever you're doing, the intent is to have fun and you're
Mhm.
doing it because you enjoy to do it and not because it's something that's like it's a chore or
Mhm.
you gotta do it
Yeah.
because, I don't know, whatever the case may be, because
Yeah.
you need money, because that's what I always say, like, even the podcast, I don't know, I'll ask you about this too, if you agree with this, but even the podcast, something that Brian and I abide by is like, this isn't for money and numbers don't really impress us. It's like a hobby that we do for fun and we are both gaining, like the podcast is growing, but we're simultaneously growing with the
Yeah.
podcast and that's kind of enough to like fuel the fire.
Yeah.
And also we know the potential that it has to go, which is great. Like the money, and I feel like the fame or the attention,
Yeah.
it comes with the territory, which is
Mhm.
great. But that's not the point of direction. Do you feel that same way with everything that you do, not just DJing, but like
Yeah.
art, producing, all that?
Yeah. I feel that way with anything that I do,
Hmm.
and it's like I mean, I could get philosophical here,
Let's do
but
it.
I
Let's do
mean,
it.
at the end of the day, it's like, why are we here? You have to ask yourself that. And no matter how many theories there are or how many things that other people will tell you, at the end of the day, it's like, what is making you feel fulfilled?
Yeah,
What are you happy doing? Because you're gonna be doing that every day, so
exactly.
don't waste your time doing anything else.
Exactly.
And I was at a point in my life where I was doing things that weren't fulfilling me, that were making me unhappy, even though I was like making money and, surviving. It's like, do you really want to spend this precious life that you have doing something that doesn't fulfill you?
Exactly.
For what?
Yeah.
This is your one life. Like, take advantage of it.
Mhm.
And so you might as well have fun while you're doing
Mhm.
it.
And I feel like once you adopt that mentality,
Mhm.
like do what you love, everything else fills the gaps,
Mhm.
like everything else will be provided for you.
Yeah.
Whether it's you're worried about money,
Yeah.
worried about friendships, worried about family, because at that point it's kind of like you're fulfilling your purpose or
Yeah.
what it is that you're supposed to be doing. Because if something fills your cup that much or makes you that happy,
Mhm.
that's exactly what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And then you're in alignment with everything else, with the
Yeah.
friendships, with the community, with the money,
Yeah.
everything else kind of just flows in.
Yeah. Isn't it crazy though? It's like you think if you do something that's completely different and you're like, okay, this thing would fulfill me and you do it, you do have that first initial worry of like, oh, what if I can't make money doing this
Mhm.
or what if something doesn't go right? But when you do push yourself and you do it and you take that leap and then it works out and then you're also like, oh, like, I could also take care of myself doing this too from doing this, and it all falls into
Mhm.
place miraculously.
Mhm.
It's like, it's meant to be
Yeah,
for
it
you.
clicks. Yeah,
It
it's like,
clicks.
oh, okay.
It clicks for
Yeah.
you, and it only takes taking that leap.
Mhm.
Like, I know it's scary, it may be different from what you've been doing for a very long time. It may be against the norm even, but once you do it and it's in place, everything comes together.
Everything
It's
comes
it's
together.
really crazy how it happens.
Yeah.
Like, trust me.
Yeah.
But it's gonna work out for
Mhm.
you as long as you're being yourself. You're staying true to what you want to do.
Yeah.
It's gonna work out. It's crazy.
Always.
I
Yeah,
know
no.
it's scary at first, but
Yeah.
like it's gonna work out for
That's
you.
the God's honest truth
Yeah.
because God calls you to be who he created you to be. So if there's always like that kind of voice inside your head that's like, I should be doing this or I want to be
Yeah.
doing that, it's because that's what you're supposed to be doing and who you're supposed to be. And
Yeah.
there's always like this fear of like what people think. Um, am I doing the right thing? Blah blah blah. But again, like once you take that leap and you're like, okay, I'm
Yeah.
gonna just live my life for me,
Yeah.
everything works out.
Yeah.
Like, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, I like what you said about, like, listening to that voice that you
Yeah,
hear.
because everyone has it.
Everyone.
Everyone has it. It just takes that person to be like, okay, it's that yes. You have to give. Like I said, I'm a very spiritual person, so I'm gonna keep talking about God, but you have to give God your yes. Like,
Yeah.
okay, yes, I surrender. I'll do it. Because, like I said, with this podcast, same thing. It was like, podcast, me. I
Yeah.
have social anxiety. I don't really like
Yeah.
people. I don't really like talking to people. I don't really like being in the
Yeah.
spotlight. Like that's not me. But in the back of my mind, it's like, no, do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it.
Yeah.
It's like I
Yeah.
said my yes, and then the first video, a clip goes viral, and we're getting like
Oh my god,
hundreds
I
of
love that
followers
for
a day, you know?
you.
So it's like you gotta give God your yes. And you
Yeah.
gotta just say, this is who I'm meant to be,
Yeah.
you know?
And you would think it's easy to do that, to just be like, "Oh, just say yes." But a lot of people get comfortable with distractions or vices.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they'll get used to doing something even though it might not be good for them, or
Exactly,
they're
yeah.
not happy doing it or unfulfilled. And it's super easy to get comfortable,
Mm-hmm.
and because it's a routine, like, everyone loves a routine, they like doing things how
Yeah.
they have always done
They like
them.
security. I know where my
Exactly.
money's coming from. I know, I have this 9 to 5 that I can't stand, but I'm gonna clock in because I know I'm gonna get a paycheck in 2 weeks,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
They
I
get
get it.
comfortable,
Hmm.
and that's understandable, that's very human of you, like, it's okay that you're comfortable, but at the end of the day, like, how many consecutive years are you okay being comfortable rather than doing what you're supposed to be
Yeah,
doing?
and it's kind of like you're comfortable, but you're also very uncomfortable because
Yes! Oh
you're
my
like
god!
you're
That's
like
so
I
real!
should not be I should not be doing
That's
this. I
so
hate this. My life fucking
true! Like,
sucks. But I know I'm gonna get paid
yeah.
and I know I can provide for my family or whatever the case may be. But at the same time, there's like again, like I said, everyone has that voice in the back of your mind. It's
Mhm.
like this is not what I should be doing. This is not how I should be
Yeah.
wasting my time. And I always say time is money you can get back.
Mhm.
Like time, you cannot get that
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
You know?
True, so
So it's
true.
like you gotta just listen to that voice and baby steps. That's another thing. It's
Mhm.
like you might not see results the first time you do it, or even the
Mhm.
second time you do it, or the third, but if it feels good and it feels fulfilling to you, keep
Yeah.
doing it.
Yeah.
Like you said earlier, practice makes perfect. Just eventually you'll see something,
Yeah.
even if it's just that spark of joy that you get from doing it. I feel like that's more than
Most
enough. Yeah.
definitely. And also, like, okay, so let's say you've been comfortable doing this thing, and then finally you're like, okay, I want to take the next step into doing what I really want to do. Obviously, it's not an overnight thing.
Exactly,
It's
yeah.
not just, you do this today, tomorrow you're going to be in this other lifestyle. Like, that's not the case. So you're right, it is baby steps, and with baby steps you have to be aware and congratulate yourself for
Mm.
doing those baby steps. You have to, like, be thankful that you even did it in the first place.
Mhm.
Like, let's say today's the day that you're like, "Okay, I wanna start doing this now." Obviously, you have to do those baby steps. So if you make today the day where you make that little goal of like, okay, I'm gonna rearrange my room to where it's easier for me to make music.
Mhm.
If if that's all you did that day where you're like, okay, I'm gonna get my music corner together in my room, that's amazing that
Yeah,
you did that. Like,
exactly. Yeah.
pat yourself on the back. Like, you did that. And
Mhm.
that's only the first step of many to be doing what you want to do. And
For
so
sure.
don't forget to congratulate yourself that,
Mhm.
like, hey, like, I did something that goes towards this goal. That's amazing, you
Yeah,
know?
I agree
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, like productivity looks different every day. Like
Mhm.
even the same token, like you said, like just creating that space, that's one step. But even in just like your regular everyday life, if you feel down, if you've been feeling really bad about yourself, maybe like the last month,
Mhm.
and you tell yourself, I took a shower today. You
Yes,
know, like I got out of
definitely.
bed today.
Most definitely.
I opened the blinds today. Like there's
That's
always something, you
amazing.
know, like you've done something to work towards being
Yeah.
better, and you owe it to yourself to like, you know, congratulate
Yeah.
yourself for that. For sure. I love that.
Yeah. I heard this one quote that's what that reminds me of that, where even if you didn't use 100% of your like productivity energy and you only had say 60% of that energy, but you used that 60%, you technically used
A hundred
100% of that
percent.
60%. I know
Yeah.
it's a lot of numbers.
Yeah, for
But, like,
sure.
what it's trying to say is, like, you did your best, like, that's the best you can do,
And your
that's
best looks
great.
different every
Every
day.
day.
Your best looks different
Yeah.
every single day. Okay, so as we are wrapping up the interview,
Mhm.
what's next for you? Like in the next 3 to 5 years, what do you see yourself doing?
So, when it comes to DJing, I wanna branch out, I wanna play all over the world, like, not just out of state, I wanna play in, like, Berlin, Paris, like, I see myself going everywhere with
Yeah.
that. But I don't wanna just DJ, I wanna, like, play live music, I wanna do, like, you know what Kaytranada does too, where he produces his own tracks and
Mhm.
does full sets, like, I love the idea of doing something like that, and I wanna take it worldwide, like, I just wanna show my own perspective creatively to, like, everybody out there and
Mhm.
hopefully inspire people like I've been inspired by
Mhm.
my favorite artists. And so, yeah, I just wanna take it globally, and I just want everyone to have fun and,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
like, see the creative vision.
Yes, I love it. And we cannot wait to see more of you.
Oh
If
my
you are in the
gosh.
DFW area, we will link her or post her Instagram. So follow her and check out any of her events. And we are wrapping up this episode. So thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next week on the next episode of On the Come Up with KG.
Bye.
Bye.